then go on to form their own government that is representative of what they want and not and without our interference.
Yeah,
But
I think the U.S. administration or whatever, whoever the strategists behind this operation were, thought that if they kept bombing the country, that the regime would change in a significant way. And what happened was that this didn't occur, even though they killed lots of the high-ranking officials in different branches of the government. The government is still in power, and the reason is, of course, after 47 years, how are you gonna topple a government just with bombing? I mean, it's not possible. You're gonna have to put in ground forces there, and they're not willing to put ground forces in Iran because it's gonna be too many casualties, and Trump is not gonna risk his legacy on that kind of thing. I mean, at least I don't think he's going to do that.
right.
So yeah, I think what they're going to do is try to find somebody more moderate in the current regime, so that they would do some sort of a deal. But the trouble is internally, what's happening in Iran is that the government is still keeping the facade of being whatever it was before the war began. So while internally they're projecting this narrative of, yeah, we're powerful, the U.S., the Israeli government, all of these ultra powerful forces, global forces couldn't really defeat us. This is going against what the U.S. really wants to do in the country.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't see how Trump can get out of this with face.
Yeah, yeah, that's quite tough. That's quite tough. And it's really bad because if he hadn't started this, the Iranian government wouldn't have this level of global reputation. Now they're going to have this reputation as the lone country that was able to, at least on the surface, defeat the US and Israel. They've lost
Yeah,
lots of equipment and everything, lots of military equipment, but at least on the surface they have prevented whatever it was that the US
Trump
government was.
wanted to accomplish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
mean,
they really uh, had much of forethought, or maybe they did. Maybe
Yeah,
this was like
yeah.
this is either like the dumbest thing, or it's like a very, very cunning and well thought out thing.
I, given our president,
Probably the former.
Well, but how much of it was him, and how much of it was, hey, here's the plan. This is what you're going to do, and here's what we're going to present, and then they just let him run. If he's like, okay, that's what we'll do, because I don't think it's really him behind it. It's like the advisors,
That's
whatever
true.
else is like, hey, here's what's going on, here's all the factors, and here's what we can do, and if we do this, this is going to happen. And I think it's a possibility that some very cunning minds have been thinking about this for a long time, and have not
Yeah,
been. They've been thinking about the implications of next month and the following month as things continue, as oil shortages and food shortages and all this stuff, and Asia getting choked, you know, and all
yeah.
these kinds of things. But
His
then again, it's like
messaging.
it's definitely poking the bear.
yeah, if you
Yeah,
want more on that line of thinking, then you can look up Simon Dixon and hear how he articulates exactly how this is being reset, that all of the different resources in the world right now are being renegotiated, and that China is going to exit this as the real winner because
mm,
America will be weakened, Israel will be weakened, Iran is actually going to gain oil hegemony. They've already increased their. I mean, from what I heard, they're actually selling us oil now, Iran.
Well,
We're buying oil
I
from Iran
I
as
haven't
we're
heard
making.
that, but
I heard quite a
that's
different
not
perspective
unlikely.
from just yesterday I was watching a clip from Professor Zhang. I don't know if you guys know who he
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I know him.
Yeah, yeah. So he was saying that China is likely to be the most economically hit from this because
Oh,
their entire economy depends on them being able to import cheap energy.
yeah, from
Right.
Iran.
Also,
Which,
another
which is why they have a
another
vested.
recent thing, and this isn't from Professor Zhang, but this is from another Chinese woman, national, who says that, and I don't know why I never thought of this before. I never put two and two together, but she said, the population of China is actually closer to like half a billion. They've been fudging the numbers since the 50s because in 1950s their population was half a million. They institute a one-child policy. You know how many? If they grew their population by double in 50 years, it takes 5 kids per household to produce that doubling in 50 years. They've had a one-child policy for however long.
Right.
No way they have a billion people.
I have no idea. I have no
So
idea.
that's an aside, but yeah, we have all these different things. We got now we went in, we invaded and took out Maduro in Venezuela, cut off the oil supply to China, and we have that oil supply. So one of the things Professor Zhang talked about, and this is something I've been thinking about as well, is like the countries who are going to thrive are the ones that are able to innovate and are able to produce goods and services from within their own nation.
Yeah.
Be
It's
able
a
to be
reverse.
basically self-sustainable. The ones that are going to be hit the hardest, Africa. Africa's got nothing coming.
Oh,
They are totally wrecked. Southeast Asia, where you're at right now, you already see it, right? I saw some videos on the streets. There's hardly any traffic.
in Thailand?
Yeah, I don't know
I
if that.
mean, the price of fuel has increased noticeably. Like I
Yeah, I
used
mean, I
to
saw I saw a
fill my
video of the
bike
streets
for
of
100
Bangkok.
baht. Now it's like 160 baht.
Yep, and so yeah, and then Europe as well.
Well, from what I
Their
understand,
their
we're in,
resource you know they're not resource heavy. The U.S. is massively stands to gain actually
yeah, we
because we have everything we need here. We don't
yeah,
actually need anything else.
we've got 4 years of oil reserves, and we're actually exporting because of our fracking, right? Exporting oil, so we're sitting good short term. But I think this war is unique in that it comes at an intersection with an impending global crisis, economic global crisis, because what's happening, as I understand, is the stock markets are way overvalued, and we're about to enter, before the war started, a private debt crisis, which is similar to what happened in 2008. It's supposed to be worse, from what I understand. Although maybe we're better skilled at dealing with those crises now, but we'll see how that plays out. But what I'm getting at is that if the price of oil stays up for much longer, we will enter a recession officially. For now, we can sustain this sort of hit, the world economy. But what you were saying, Colin, is that what the extraction of Maduro meant to me, and now looking back, it may have even been the war in the Ukraine, February 12th, 2022, the invasion of Ukraine. But you never know when you're in history. I was talking to you guys about the fourth turning, right? And one of the things about the fourth turning, the author explains that history is not like 9/11 or the assassination of JFK. When you're in it and living it, you don't know where you are. Just like I mentioned earlier, we, we don't realize that in 50 years, people are going to look back at Sifu and say, that was a golden era, right? Because he was spreading all the teachings so clearly. But we will in 10 years. So my point is, history is not like 9/11. So I believe the extraction of Maduro from Venezuela was the death of globalism. To me, that there's no going back. When the United States in its own hemisphere invades a country through special forces with a very limited extraction from someone who he wasn't Osama bin Laden, you know, he was a president of a freaking country, and we just removed him. And so that to me was the death of globalism. So what that's following on what you're saying, Colin, that yes, who can be most self-sustaining it is going to exist. And there's going to be all sorts of renegotiations of resources, oil, energies,
Mm-hmm.
uh, food, and and not to mention the government of the United States, the government debt crisis of the United States is incredible. Like the interest payment on the debt is now exceeding the entire cost of the military budget. It's the first time in history that's ever happened.
Yep.
So
And so, with the closing of the Straits of Hormuz, we have the potential for the petrodollar to be defunct,
yeah,
right? Which would basically destroy the global value of the dollar, right? But then you have oil and cheap energy in natural gas as well, not getting to China, let's say. And what's going to power their data centers? As we are racing towards AGI, with every country who's in the game trying to get there first, well, what powers it? Oil.
yeah.
Yeah. So again, there's all these little things. Is this part of a strategy? But then we're also playing with very high stakes because we're dealing with nuclear powers.
Yeah, we didn't even mention that.
Yeah.
This that's what this war really should be about. I was talking to someone the other day and he made a good point, but I feel I need to counter it here. He said, isn't it hypocritical the United States and Israel, people states with nuclear weapons, to to stop another country from having and developing nuclear weapons? And I would say, yeah, it's hypocritical. I mean, it could be, but it's like saying, uh, you can't. You're 21 years old, and you can't tell a 10-year-old he can't drink alcohol. It's
Yeah,
the same thing.
it's the same thing. Yeah, I was gonna say you can't
Yeah.
just give a kid a gun. You know.
Yeah, you don't just
And
give.
that's just the surface narrative that they're using to justify what they're doing. But it's been in the mix for many decades. The Israeli lobby wanted this to happen maybe for 20, 30 years, and different forces in the US government also wanted this to happen. So the nuclear
Yes.
the
Yeah. And
nuclear
forces which are you know backed by religious idealism, oftentimes
yeah,
as well. There's
From the American side?
yeah, the
yeah,
Christian Zionists. Yeah, they want to
That's
bring
true.
about the end of days. Yeah, the Israelis want to do the same thing, and
And so do the
and
Iranians, am
so
I
do the
wrong?
Muslims.
Israel?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's actually
we're
true.
we're we're, we're literally racing towards Armageddon.
The Shia. The Shia have
Yeah,
this return of
the
Allah.
same way that the Jews have this idea about the Mashiach, I think that's this way they pronounce it, the savior. The same ideas are also in Shiism. So,
Right,
and
Prophet
apparent,
Ali is supposed to come back.
yeah, apparently things have to get super bad before the before the savior arrives. So,
Yeah, so one of the things is the rebuilding of the temple in Israel. I forget exactly what the holy site is, but it's like the third holiest site in Islam is currently there. So that needs to be destroyed so that this temple can be built, and that will usher in the Messiah.
yeah.
From the Christian Zionists.
I mean,
Uh,
it's a
this
shame
is
people believe in
from
this
the
stuff.
Israeli Zionists, yeah. But the Christian Zionists, I believe, are of the same sort of mind. It's just that the Israeli Zionists believe that the Messiah is going to come. The Christian Zionists say, he's coming back. That's the essential difference, I think.
So what we've got is we've got this zealous religious ideology. We've got nuclear weapons. We've got a crazy president in the United States of the most powerful country in the world at the moment. We have the year of the fire horse, and we have a debt crisis that is well beyond its cycle. Like just the debt crisis, the debt cycle alone is well beyond. It like needs to reset, and it's the fourth turning, man. Historically, this is the portion of the seculum where the crisis is coming.
We
And
already have also dangerous AI. We already have that.
oh my gosh, I didn't
Yeah.
mention that.
So there's new models that they have not released and they can't release them yet because they're profoundly dangerous. So there's that also, and then we have an oil shortage
This
globally.
is this is more than a perfect storm, man. This is crazy.
So time to train, huh?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we could literally talk hours for this. We're all amateurs and we're just we don't really know what's going on. Like Farzad says, nobody knows. But man, it's scary times.
Yeah,
Scary
yeah, we're
times.
just spitballing, but these are all things that are happening, and yeah, just doing our little level best to make some sense of it, so that
Yeah.
hopefully we can be a little bit more prepared than we would have been otherwise.
Well, let's hope and pray that Donald Trump can pull off a deal. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not exactly in his corner, but
What, for a
let's
third
see.
term?
Heavens, no. No, no, no. I think he's served his purpose in the fourth turning. I just wanted him to get us out of this with face and fewer dead people and some calm. It doesn't matter what he does because I believe this is just a domino falling, and it's going to set off more wars, regional wars somewhere. I don't know where, who knows, but something worse is coming.
Well,
Anyway.
interesting times for sure, for sure. But I'm encouraged. I'm grateful. It's good to be alive, and appreciate the hell out of you guys immensely.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Same. Same.
Likewise to you. I shall
Likewise.
see you guys soon. And you want to stop that recording and upload it?
Yes.